Good afternoon and good evening, everybody all across the world. This is Stat Check episode 78, Can't Nerf This. And I am Innes, and I am joined by Jeremy, Nathan, and Anthony for this wonderful post-data slate episode of Warhammer, where we at least know how much the meta is going to suck or be amazing for the next 3 months, rather than being continually confused. How is everybody getting on? Jeremy, would you like to start us off?
Feeling better than last week. Last week I was suffering from a bit of post-tournament blow-offs, but today I'm feeling pretty well. Been painting up my sisters, so yeah, that's where I'm at. Getting ready to run a GT this weekend, so I get to watch everyone else suffer while I just, watch. How about you, Anthony?
I have played or participated in 24 games of Warhammer 40k since the data slate. I am tired.
So you've averaged an RTT a day?
Yeah, something like that. I think the average when I actually looked was like 2.8 or something like that, or like 2 point something. Yeah, not happy about it.
At least you're learning a lot for Pyra.
I am learning just a shit ton for Pyra. I literally just said this when we were in the pre-show, but I was like, I've played so much 40k in the last week and some change that I feel like I'm ready for the next data slate.
You've probably played or watched more games than the average 40k player will deal with over the next 3 months.
During this data slate window, yeah, that is certainly true.
Well, will it be more or less events that Necrons will win this data slate window? Let's stay tuned to find out more.
I don't know about all that, sir. Yeah, I got to do the emotional roller coaster of Drukhari, which I'm sure we can talk about later after the stats. We should do the stats about them and then my findings from actually playing them after. Because one of them is positive and one of them is sad. And their stats were pretty good this weekend. So they're definitely, I mean, things are okay. If you play teams, things are pretty good. Actually, I would say things are all right, some armies and things got hit more than they deserved. Some got hit not enough. And
some either should have been hit more.
Why do you have to kick them while he's down?
Why?
You still winning half your games?
I don't know. I can't even tell anymore. I don't know who wins at the end of my game. I lose all of them. That's what I know. Every time I finish one, I'm like, fall asleep. No, I don't know. But in teams you could still take 14 factions, and that's pretty cool. So teams is a pretty good spot. I think the meta is probably I would hesitate to call it better in teams, but
different at least.
It's different side grade. It's not the exact downgrade like I think it is in singles. So we got that going for us. But yeah, things are pretty good. I don't know. We're playing some more Warhammer this weekend. I'm playing some in-person Warhammer this weekend, I think. So that's cool. Not like an event or anything. I'm just going to Rogue State. But yeah, things are going pretty good. Nathan?
Things are all right. I played more 40k since this last data slate than I had in the past couple of months before that, basically, already, which is kind of nice. I don't know. I feel like list design for me, at least, is like a person who doesn't do it for teams and doesn't do it as much as everybody else does it. It feels very open right now from a list design perspective. So I sit down and I look at lists and I feel like there's a lot of possibilities, and that's going to narrow down very quickly. But I got to play a game into Necrons for the first time since their codex came out, basically. And I watched a whole Imperial Guard army take 3 wounds off of a Void Dragon, and I was like, Lord, why? Jeremy got to watch me do that because I was on TTS, and Jeremy was hanging out in the room while I rolled those dice. And I was a very sad man. I got so tunnel visioned that I ended up spending the whole next shooting phase also shooting it just to kill it, which was the mistake that I made. The biggest mistake is I just got so focused on murdering the Void Dragon. Although highlight of that game was a tank commander running over the Nightbringer in tank shock, doing 3 mortal wounds to him and no pains being made. Perfection. Other than that, I've been tooling around with a bunch of different armies because I'm thinking about what to take to a non-serious event, which is the Adepticon teams thing, where it's basically just doubles. So 4 people each take 1,000 points, and they swap you around loosey-goosey across rounds so that you play with everybody else on your team and to everybody else on the other team, essentially. Teams over the course of the event. So, yeah, that's kind of it. playing Eldar into Custodes this weekend, I think. And then, yeah, things are fine. Muay Thai slowly breaks my bones. That's about it.
I start when
Death
I
in
get
the
back
chat.
from Pyra.
Demolisher and Devoid Dragon, 1 damage. Random Stubber, 1 damage.
The Stubber did more damage than all of the Demolisher cannons did. The heavy Stubber took the last 3 wounds off of him in rapid fire. It was like 3 wounds, 3 failed saves, 3 failed feel no pains, and the Void Dragon died. And I was like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. They just do that sometimes. I start I'm probably gonna start training again once I get back from Pyra, so that'll be fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just
Do you have any advice for me as the older, wiser man, Nathan?
just I think people don't realize like how much cardio, and I had forgotten how much cardio was involved in doing martial arts training still.
Yeah.
Like I got to the thing this morning and they were like, so we're gonna run, and I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
And then we ran like and switched drills that we were doing every 3 minutes through
Nice.
like, basically a Muay Thai round, and did that for like 15 minutes. And at the end of it, I was like, oh no.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And then the rest of it was just basically that, but continued until my old man body was like, I definitely didn't focus on cardio enough for this.
All right. Well,
So
we'll
yeah,
see how it
do some
goes.
cardio before then, I guess. And
Yeah.
that's about it.
You can make him run around the rose bushes at Pyra.
You can talk about. I'll just send you guys drills to do during Pyra. Apparently, just high knee around the tables for 5 minutes, guys.
Yeah.
Just go through them. I hear that's the done thing.
Yeah. We'll see how it all goes. I'm just gonna pay Dom to teach me jujitsu. That's gonna be my real long con. He's done it forever.
Nice. I mean, other than that, I've been planning WTC stuff, like flights and things, and probably going to go to Scotland and eat fried food, the same thing that I eat in the Midwest, but more of it.
It's so much better. It's not even, but comparing them is disrespectful to like Scotland as a whole. It's not even almost the same thing.
We'll get you on the dragon soup. That's the main one.
Oh no!
Sure.
You need the like leave the US at 10 p.m. Don't sleep on the plane. Don't sleep on the tram. First thing you have at 11 a.m. dragon soup. That's how you start a day in Scotland, bro.
I'm gonna fly into Glasgow too, instead of I think into Edinburgh, and just do that way. I don't know how I'm doing my life anymore.
Yeah,
that's it. I'm gonna keep delaying. I'm just going to keep delaying talking about stats as long as possible because I don't want to talk about them all this week.
I mean, there's nothing to talk about. Yeah. I love how you've offended both of the Scottish players in our chat, Ben McUrick and Brian Seep, who have said who are native Minnesotans.
Yeah.
I am a native Minnesotan, you dingus.
It makes it so much better.
Brian's from Maryland, not Minnesota.
Yeah, let's start with M's. It's the same thing.
Holy shit,
Brian's
Adam.
more offended that I haven't told Brian that I'm going to Scotland, I think, is technically what Brian's offended.
Hey, Adam. Good
He's
to see you.
He's going to Glasgow, not Edinburgh.
Yeah, that's I would be too.
It's $300 cheaper to fly into Glasgow for some reason than Edinburgh. And they're like 90 minutes apart by train. What?
Where are you flying to, sorry?
Glasgow?
It's not how you were pronouncing it a second ago.
Oh, that's fine. It's okay. It's Glasgow, yeah. Oh, yeah, we're gonna go to Glasgow. Don't you know? Oh.
Getting in Glasgow, mate.
And then afterwards, we're gonna go to that Edinburgh.
Oh, enough.
You can stay with Christmas and Andrews.
Edinburgh, go brag.
Edinburgh, go brag. Yeah. Oh, Innes, how was your weekend, eh?
Yeah, it wasn't so bad. I went down to Coventry for the ITT, played with Team Extinguish, who discovered that we were extremely flammable as we lost to Ignite in the finals, but got all the way there, which was pretty fun. Managed to have a really cool game with Liam VSL, again, on his bullshit Eldar MSU stuff. Just, I don't understand how I killed 5 units a turn and there were still 15 units on the board at the end of the game.
You got rushed.
Eldar has too much shit.
No, I tried to rush him, Anthony. That was the problem. I tried to use the power against him.
Idiot.
You tried to wield his powers, failed.
It's like, I'll just charge his warp sponge with my scouts on turn 1. And then with like Oath of Moment, a scout squad in melee and a whirlwind, I killed like 4 of them. And then that one dude just like stood on an objective the entire game. And I'm like, I don't like this.
Sounds like what warp spiders do, yeah. You killed 4 of them, and that Exarch or one of them, whoever's left, just does everything.
The average squad. Yep.
Yeah. He was like 12 shots. All the scouts are dead.
Yeah, but no, it was a super interesting event. It was really cool to work with like Josh Roberts and Tony Chu from Team England and a bunch of those people. I got to see like we had Team Scotland down there. They managed to go, or like there was like 5 of the guys from Team Scotland down there playing for their local club, and they managed to go 3-2. I think they lost to Vanguard and War Masters, which not the worst set of teams to lose to. Yeah, it was really good. I stayed with Nas. He's a terrible roommate. Don't. I
He
actually
says you're nice to
always-
sleep with, at least.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever been accused of that one before.
Cuddly?
It was fine.
Innes has been wrong-footed by vague compliments. And is now staggering around, unsure what to do with himself.
When Innes and I stayed together, he didn't tell me that I looked like a corpse. That was pretty funny. There was one day where I just like looked in the mirror and I was like, "Wow, I look awful." And he was like, "Yeah, I wasn't gonna say it, but it's not good at WCW because it was like post-surgery, painkillered up." I was like, I looked in the mirror, I was like, I literally look dead. Why didn't you tell me? And he was like, "Ah, it's fine. You always look like
Just
that."
like, what are you gonna do? Not look tired?
You, back to bed now.
Exactly. I'm not his dad. He was like,
To date, the favorite thing I've ever had said about me on stream wasn't even me playing a game. It was me walking past Joe from War Games Live at LGT, and he goes, "Oh man, I just saw Anthony Vanilla, and he looks like a corpse." Dead quote. Like, we hadn't interacted yet. He just told the stream and then went back to what he was doing, and I was like, anyway.
I love Joe.
Yeah.
So yeah. No, it was cool. I got to play Black Templar's Iron Storm. My list basically doesn't change with the nerfs. It's really, really broken. It's great fun.
Don't you lose an
Crusader
entire
squads
unit?
are hilarious. Yeah, cool, man. That'll change all the people I tabled from getting tabled in 4 turns to 4.5. That Predator really was making all of the difference when the Reapers tabled you. I was just like on the very brief note. OC is really good. I don't know why nobody ever nobody over the course of like basically the prep time for WTC. I spent a bit of time playing Deathwatch, and I had like OC2 Deathwatch veterans, but because they were so fragile, you never saw them on objectives. They just like never did that. And then since then, I've not played a battle line unit other than like the one GT I played Thousand Suns at to test them. So I kind of like didn't know what it was like to just like take objectives on people by just like putting models there. That was something people did to me. Why did nobody just like at any point just be like, "Hey, Anna, so you consider just like a squad of intercessors?" And it probably would have improved a bunch about this recently. So
Nah.
go and sit there. And yes, NASA 5 Reapers inbound. I definitely did not write up a 6 Gladiator Reaper list that I might consider trying sometime. 3 Black Templars ones, 3 regular ones.
I realized that afterwards and went,
Different data sheets.
"Oh god."
Are you allowed to take the Black Templars and the basic ones?
Yes.
Yep.
You're not allowed to take the basic ones if you play Righteous Crusaders.
And that's the
That's-
only
Outside
reason-
of that, you're allowed to use them whatever, which is what has made
Definitely
Black Templars
seems
Iron
like
Storm
a
so great because
loophole.
you pay 5 points for a multi-melta.
Yeah, and that makes
Definitely
And the
seems like a
Crusaders and
loophole,
all that other
not the
bullshit.
main hole. Just putting that out there.
Yeah,
Do we want to
so
talk about stats then? I don't know, man.
go for it.
Drukhari went undefeated in a pre-slate event. Let's highlight that.
Sure.
And
Was
then
it
Drukhari won an
Scary?
event post-slate.
Was it Scary in the
No.
pre-slate or the post-slate one? Okay, then
No, Star was in RTT this weekend.
all right.
Yeah,
All right, we're
Scary
gonna
was
talk
beating
about-
up on was beating up on the locals.
We're just going to go through only post-slate numbers because I don't care about your pre-slate numbers. Sorry, folks. There were 4 GT-sized events that we tracked for the purposes of this. So that's 25 plus person, 5 plus round events. That's how you qualify for getting put in the stats. In case people have forgotten, the top performing faction by win rate was Chaos Knights with a 64% win rate. I don't know. Necrons at a 62.7, which they also won one of the 4 events. I think it was just one of the 4 events post-slate. Adeptus Mechanicus at a 60, Drukhari at a 60, and then Leagues of Votan at a 60. Nobody should take these numbers seriously at all at this exact moment. A lot of these factions, as we get more numbers over like the next 2 weeks, there's only 4 events. I'm sorry, folks, you can't make huge or even
you need to make
solid
sweeping-
conclusions.
Nathan, draw meaningful conclusions from that data. Make some sweeping
Right.
statements. I want you to pick 3 things to just
The-
like commit as being hard facts, regardless of the data right now.
The only thing that I'm going to commit to is that Necrons are broken. They had the most games of the
We don't
weekend
have the data.
by
What
far.
do
I don't
you
care.
mean?
I'm gonna because nothing changed between pre and post slate for Necrons. I can make this conclusion. You could have just made up.
Nathan, I want your 3 predictions for the metagame
Right.
based on the stats we have that aren't Necrons are broken, because come on, man, chill.
Sure. All right. Sky Splinter is only going to last until people realize that Drukhari stuff dies immediately to one dedicated Reaper tank. I played that into Blood Angels over the weekend, and I watched 3 squads of Scourge unable to pick up a single, like even one across 5 turns. 15 Scourge with Dark Lances did 8 damage to a Land Raider on one shot. One shot.
Have you tried running an alt-art wheelie pair? Chewies did 15 damage to boxes. So
Yeah, I had a game.
Cool. He took all of the luck apparently.
Yeah, I had a game
Not all
against
of
CK where my Scourges missed with all their shots and didn't cycle all their pain tokens, and then I was down to 1 pain token in the fight phase. And the thing I was shooting at was a 3 health war dog, and I was like, "Well, one of these charges sucks awful dicks now, I guess." Okay.
The other thing that I wanted to say is like those combat units are definitely very vulnerable to dice just going wrong. I watched 10 Incubi hit a Blood Angel unit, kill 5 Marines, and then just all go away.
Yep.
I then watched Lilith kill a whole squad by herself, basically.
Yeah.
She will do that.
Yo,
She-
Lilith
I
plays
triggered
no
her.
games.
I triggered her 12 attacks ability, and her 5 ablative wounds burned through a like whole 10-man unit by themselves, and I was like, neat.
Yeah.
I
That's
do
a
love,
drug.
by the way, that those 5 witches that you attach to her are just ablative wounds because they suck so much without her.
Yo, they're not.
They're there to give her
without
plus 1
her.
AP.
Without her.
Without
they're
her.
bad. Yeah, without her, they're bad.
With her, they're okay.
They're all right. You know what the problem is? They just don't often get to swing. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah,
very
usually
often
Lilith
she's
just
just
picks
like-
up whatever you want to kill.
yeah.
I honestly think that you probably only need like one of those 2 hammer units. Maybe you take just 10 Incubi and 1 large witch unit instead of
2 hammer
20
units?
Incubi.
Oh, I've only
Yeah.
been playing with one anything bigger than a 5.
I played with all of that nonsense because I was madman, and I was like, I just want to see what I can do with every Sky Splinter nonsense tool, and it didn't work out for me.
I don't
So,
want to be able to win Purge the Foe.
the first the first
Look, man,
time
I was never winning Purge the Foe anyways. Those Venoms die if you look at them funny.
Dude, the first time I had to move a raider on WTC terrain, I immediately cut down to 1. I was like, nope. My first list had like 2 raiders, a couple ravagers. I was like, fuck all this shit. Threw it all out. I was like, get
6 Venoms,
on.
1 Raider, nothing else.
Yeah,
Have you
not even
Talos up
not
yet,
even-
Anthony?
that's even too many Venoms. Talos are unusable on WTC. Like most of the Drukhari
Let's
stuff
not
just-
get that crazy.
dude, Talos are bad on WTC terrain for a bunch of reasons, but the primary one is moving them around.
They might be good on GW terrain, right?
Yeah,
they're 80 points.
Dude, Talos are probably good on GW terrain because events that use GW terrain typically have a lower caliber of players, so you will be fine as compared to events that use WTC terrain.
All right.
Shots fired,
The
Jesus.
only other thing that I learned about that was that the Archon can still do funny shit sometimes. Like a Land Raider
yeah.
Redeemer opened fire with all of its guns at an Archon, and he had 1 wound left at the end of that shooting phase. And he was just like, it's cool if I just make every 2-up invulnerable save, right?
I tagged Lucas's Knight Lancer for 3 straight turns with an Archon.
That's what they're good for. They're not good in combat, really. But they can just live if you don't roll ones.
He just fucking dodging and weaving, bro. Just getting out of the way.
Suddenly
I think-
grenades.
There's no grenades in Chaos Knights, and he passed his battle shocks.
I think the stats that are like high performing are going to be like some dedicated people who play the faction, and nobody's ever played Drukhari before, and they're really confused about all of a sudden
Oh, there's gonna be a
There's-
lot of that.
70
100%.
transports full of murder things inside of it.
I think there's gonna be a funny cascade of like one bad army that people think is really good getting popular, and then Drukhari being really good at beating that army. So people are gonna like lose their minds, and then it's gonna be like the bad chasing the bad and a race to the bottom until they play against the one Eldar player who didn't get the memo about spinners and tables them both.
Mhm.
So
I was definitely doing the math about night spinners into venoms, and I was like, yeah, it's just like those venoms are just gone.
Just-
Like
it sucks.
they have T6.
They're just dead.
Why do they only
It's-
have T6? I don't know, man.
it's
They're
real
made of paper.
funny.
What do you expect?
Dude, I
Can't afford the good stuff.
Dude, I played that game once, and I had 4 venoms get popped by like random elf shit, and then the spider shot and killed everyone except one squad who moved and died in Overwatch. And I was like, all right, well, I guess that's what that game looks like.
Yeah, Jeremy, if you were playing Votan into Drukhari, how many venoms do you think your bike should kill in a turn? Like if you got a 6-man.
Oh, it's so bad. We were talking
Okay,
about that
so
the other day.
if I had a 6-man bike unit, that would mean that I had the searchlight, which means I have +1 to hit stealth. So I'm going to be hitting them on 3s still, because they don't have access to lightning fast in Sky Splinter. So I'll be hitting them on 3s, winning them on 2s, maybe 3s if they don't have a second token.
I'd say they're all tokened. Everything you need to.
Yeah, okay. Let's say I tokened 4 venoms. I could probably kill 3 venoms with 6 bikes.
Yeah. Yeah, you would just go
Maybe.
2-2-2 sustain strat and fucking send it. And they would
Probably
all
go
die.
You could
And then
probably
the
kill
highlights
4 or
another one,
5
right?
because you could also do sustain strat
Plus
and
grenade.
for 2 CP, one of which you'll probably refund.
Like, I think people have realized that the army is not a glass cannon because glass itself is too durable to describe the cannon.
Yeah. It's like
It is
a
a tissue
paper
paper
towel.
cannon.
It's a
It's-
wet
it's-
paper towel cannon.
Yeah, it's even like wet paper towel isn't even right? Because like sometimes that like if you get enough of them in one spot, that might slow something down. It's just Whew.
Votan bikes probably can punch venom out. That's
I-
not an achievement, folks.
Yeah.
It has a
That's-
4 up save
look,
and a 6
yo,
up
the
I mean, that
impulse
is
and a
12
dream.
attacks.
Yo,
so-
the fucked up bit about a bike unit punching out a venom is they might also 6-inch screen it so all the shit inside dies because the bases are so big.
Okay, that's even better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Al
It's,
White has it correct. It's a sand cannon. It's a cannon made of sand.
Yeah, and ultimately, honestly, the saddest part about Drukhari to me, more than all of this, besides like thinking it was good and then it only being fine,
It's fun.
Fun.
it's not. No, it's not sad that it's fun. That's a good thing. It's sad that because there's so much going on with it, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, if I had just played better, I'd have been fine. But the degree to which you would have to be perfect and then it wouldn't even matter is so sad because you're gonna end up chasing this dragon of like the one game that you get it right or get it perfect and then no one dies and then it's fine and then you're gonna be like, yeah, so this one time I got to beat the shit out of Imperial Fists or whatever analogy works for
I mean-
10th edition for that. Like it's so rough. It's so cool. It just doesn't do the thing.
So there's 2 things at play here. One, Drukhari still kill Marines really, really well.
Just with
Except
the
for,
quickness.
except for Land Raiders.
Dude, if some CSM player shows up to your shop and didn't get the memo that army's only okay now, you're gonna get to stunt on that nerd with Drukhari.
Watching 10 Incubi with an Archon and a Pain token go into 10 Chosen,
Whoop. Yeah, everybody out of here.
just be gone.
Yeah.
No, the other thing is though, and this is I think one of the big things is that while like it's a newer playstyle for Drukhari, but it's an older playstyle for them. We've been playing against more durable transports for so long so that most armies have the tech, the capacity, and players have the knowledge of how to handle things like activation locking behind transports. That what was an issue in 9th, which was kill the raider, kill the shit inside, isn't an issue now.
I think it's actually less that players have adapted to that, more that 10th lets you has like stupid mechanics in it. Like indirect is much better than it ever was in 9th, and like there's significantly more 3-inch deep strike happening.
The 3-inch deep strike. But remember, when Drukhari was out, we had the old indirect.
I remember. I was
Which
I was
didn't
there.
have the
Speed Wah is still worse than anything Night Spinners have ever done to us.
That's not true. Because when Speedball was good, like City was good, so you were fine. You just had to remember that you could LFR your Raider.
I think like the biggest thing for me is that all of the invulnerable saves on Drukhari vehicles basically went up to 6, and it makes them significantly less likely to skew math in their favor. So like
less
every
likely
time
to
you
get scammed by a 5-up than a 6-up.
I was
Yeah.
really annoyed finding out Serpents had a 5-up. Didn't like that.
yeah, but serpents are also like T10 or something like that. So it's like
Yeah, Serpents are nice.
T8?
Serpents are fairly thick. They also have a 3-up base save.
Yep. No Drukhari vehicle has more than a 4 probably for its base save.
Venoms have stealth though, which is funny sometimes.
Tantals.
Vehicle.
Nope, Tantals is a 4-up as well. That's so sad.
I was
Yep.
just going to say the Tantalus, but no, 4-up. Ooh.
Void
But it has a
Raven?
5-up invuln, right?
Does it
Tantalus?
matter? If you get to see a Tantalus,
It's gonna
Which you
die.
usually do, let's be honest.
It is
Even if
two
you-
raiders.
Degrees.
It's two raiders stapled together. You can see it.
Yeah.
And like at the end of the day, it's probably true that Drukhari units just kind of get relegated into Yanari a little bit, unless you just want to play that playstyle that bad. Which is
Sky
fine. The
Splinter's good.
army,
It's already won an
Yeah.
event. I think it will continue to win events. I don't think it's going to be a dominant army, though.
No, it's a completely reasonable army that you can play if you want to, but it's not the best thing in the game.
it is. Yeah, I would say it doesn't
Which-
crack the top 10, but yeah, it's
But that
alright.
feels good. Like this is actually a
It's
good
fine.
thing.
Yeah.
They've brought new life into the army. They've brought it back up. They brought it to a point where Drukhari
It's-
players are excited about it.
Dude, it's fun. It's
to be fair, let's go ahead, Anthony.
I would
You
I would
go
hesitate
first.
to say that I'm excited about it after playing more than 2 games with it, but it is.
You're not a Drukhari player anymore.
Let's not get carried away. I would gladly be a Drukhari player if they were an army. I'm just not loyal to armies that aren't loyal to me. Like I don't know what, like they're gonna need a codex. I think. Like I don't really know what to do about this because like I don't like most of the things that Drukhari do are cool and like a bunch of them are fun, but they need fundamental change to game design. That's just not going to happen. Like the 3-inch deep strike cat is out of the bag. Like people, that's just a thing people be
And
doing
then
now.
some.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's just like some shit that happened. Like that's some shit that happened. It's too late. It's gone. Yeah, that's true.
The other thing is there are too many armies that can cut angles. So you can hide all your Venoms, and then somebody picks up 3 units at the end of your turn that can then drop out in the angles to see all of your Venoms and then kill them with all the guns that they just teleported
Is it
around.
late enough in the edition to say that I hate the assault change that makes it not be minus 1 to 8 now?
That wouldn't matter anyway. Fucking
I know.
Venom's got
I still
stealth.
hate it.
Yeah.
You teleport them. I don't know.
I just like it does like I think the things that have changed for 10th mean that like Drukhari doesn't get to be that good. It's like the short version.
Probably not.
Yeah. Like it's just like the thing, like that stuff's just a thing now. And it's like it's okay that that's a thing. Like it's not okay that that's a thing, but that's a different problem. Like it is what it is. Like fragile elf body with no mitigating factor is just gonna die. And I don't like Drukhari are cheap. Like you get a bunch of elves. It just you lose like table quarters of them at a time. It's just like poof, everybody's dead. And you're like, oh, I gotta get stuff back over there, but Jesus Christ. I don't know.
Courier just getting inverse herd the parade.
Yeah, dude, you're
mean-
getting herded for sure.
The prey be
truth-
hurting you.
Yeah.
The truth is, Jeremy, is that Drukhari players would have been excited if they'd gotten anything in the slate. Like the fact, like they were doing so poorly outside of Skari beating up nerds, basically, that Drukhari players would have taken anything and been excited.
Yeah. Yeah, and like
now
again,
we'll go over.
it's not like it's good. Like it is. I want to be like
Yeah.
I want to end this on a positive note. Like the changes made to Drukhari are good. It's not the fault of the changes to Drukhari that Drukhari is not good. It is
Mhm.
the rest of the game around the Drukhari.
Yeah, I think that's what we've been talking about a lot in the Patreon Discord is that Drukhari's changes were all good, brought them up, but they exist in a meta that is just entirely lethal to them.
Just
So
the
there's
most hostile.
Yeah, it's just incredibly hostile. So I'm going to pick up the 5 factions at the bottom of the stats, and then we'll talk about some other stuff at the that maybe is more exciting. I don't know. We'll see. At the bottom, the very, very bottom, we have Imperial Knights, who I think only had 1 player. Yeah, it looks like just maybe 1 or 2
They had
players.
one player who went 1 and 3 and then dropped.
Yeah, so it's
that
2
feels good.
players, and they have a 25% win rate. I'm sorry, Imperial Knights players. That is a little depressing.
That's
But
what
it's
they
only 2
deserve to be.
players, so it's probably not a big deal. We'll see how it goes. World Leaders had a 33.3% win rate. Thousand Suns had a 36.7. Astra Militarum had a 37.5, but I believe they won an event post-slate. I think they were one of the GT-sized wins, but that might have been one of the pre-slate events that I've got jumbled into my brain. And then Tyranids had a 38.7% win rate to round out the bottom 5.
It's not great. 38.7 hits, man.
I mean, it's got nerfed in the slate, and we're already at like 43.
It's got nerfed a bit. I'm not that upset with where it's ended up, but yeah, it wasn't like the best.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing to look at here is like we're still looking at small numbers. These things are probably going to go towards 50% a little bit. It's the amount of movement towards 50% that will be important. Yeah, that's about it for stats. We'll get a clearer picture of the meta over the next couple of weeks. The sample size is small. It's funny to think of it as small sample size when at one point we were making some conclusions off smaller sample sizes, but it's only like 1,200, 1,300 games or something like that.
Oh, that's quite a few, actually.
Less than that. I think it's...
No, it's less than that. Actually, I'm looking at the wrong counter. It's 700. It's 700 games.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I was looking at the thing and thinking it was
chunk.
wins, losses, ties, but it's actually games played in that column, and it's 680.
Yeah, keep in mind that that's 2 for each one, so it's actually only 340 games played.
Oh, okay.
That's true.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's actually only around 400.
So it's what? Like 80 players, 70 players?
Yeah, it's only 4 events.
Like, it's not nothing, and it gives us some initial, there might be a problem here, but like I think
Also
we can
not a
agree
lot.
Necrons are going to be a problem going forward because they were a problem before the slate.
Yep. And they're getting into that meta representation range. That's probably just a problem. I think
They were
I'll
like
look at the
10%
over-
last weekend for both combined.
and their overrep was above 1 fairly substantially, I believe, for that one.
Yeah, give me a second and I'll pull up TWIT for them as well.
Thank you. Yeah, Necrons are more of a this is just a problem that has transitioned from pre to post slate. And now all of the predators, as we've talked about before, have kind of been shuffled downwards a little bit. So that's where we're at with Necrons. You can't nerf it, so you just gotta live with
Let's
it.
just give everybody a chance to bring out their ignore modifiers deck, find out it doesn't matter, and lose to them anyway, and then we can move on.
Yeah. Would you rather have damage plus feel no pain or phase caps?
Face caps.
Me too.
Face caps. There's less chance of just getting...
As in, like, I would rather have the rule myself.
Oh, I meant like, would you rather, like, if you could trade Satan being, like, if they could just be phase capped instead of what we currently have?
No, I prefer the current version.
Okay.
Yeah. I like being able to one-shot it if I really try. Like, yes, sometimes you just won't because of dice, but...
Here's the question. Phase caps then imply the existence of that old lovely mechanic of ignore rules that ignore lost wounds.
Now you're getting it. I was just slowly crawling us there, Jeremy.
We're not going back
How
there.
much is the Ouroboros chasing its tail? Yeah.
I just, you know, the Zerkerglaive just lost a rule. Perhaps it could gain one.
Look, if they bring back the Reaper of Obliterate, you can have it, okay?
That's what I'm saying!
So, what I would actually like to see, if we want to quickly go into this, I would like to see half damage go away and just be replaced by -1 damage.
Yeah, I would also be pretty into that. Half damage is pretty nonsense.
Half damage should be on any character with more than 5 wounds.
Well, and it's also one of these things where half damage and, I guess, doubling things, but I can't think of anything that actually doubles in the game right now.
Half damage plus a 5-up feel no pain plus regenerating wounds is just excessive.
Yeah, it's the usual. You've layered so many things, except this time they're all on the data sheet. It's not like they're coming from army rolls.
There's no combos here.
It's just
normally,
it's all on the sheet. How'd you miss this?
Look, normally I'm happy to give GW the path, right? Like you could be like, that's very funny, but like you could just be like, you know, oh, they didn't think that you would use like this warlord trait with this relic with this strap. These are just like, bro, they're right there. Like you did this. Like they're just like, you just stepped on your own.
I would like to see
you just put down
moving away from half damage and doing like a flat -1 or -2.
Sure.
And the reason for that, like, make Satan's -2 damage to a minimum of 1. Fine. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying if you want to make them durable, do that because it makes the math easier and it makes players less confused about how the fuck it interacts with Melta.
Sure. That makes sense.
But it's funny to me how I like making people do a little bit of high school math or preschool math. It's great.
It is also funny when the Incarn just dies to 2 failed brigand saves.
Can you count on your fingers, guys? If not,
I end up doing a lot of that and still getting it wrong. I'm doing my best, but like,
I also would love to see Hypercrypt change so that it just doesn't affect Catan at all. Like, you can't Hypercrypt Catan.
I think that's fine. I think you
If we're going to have them have a 6-inch movement, but it's fake because they can get picked up and then deposited 3 inches away from somebody.
Yeah, but if you deposit a Catan 3 inches away from somebody, they're not doing much aside from shooting. Their melee is...
well, yeah, they're so fragile that you could see why that play would be dangerous.
I don't know. I didn't have any trouble killing them with ignore mods.
There's lots of consequences for the Necron player for making a clearly boneheaded move like that. It always goes so badly, you see.
Look, Vol likes ignore mods. What can I say?
Where's Vol getting ignore mods from? Does she have it on her data sheet?
Light of the Emperor.
Cool.
Are you just saying that, or is that a stratagem?
It's actually a stratagem that sisters
Oh,
have.
okay. I thought you were just like,
No. It is actually a
Emperor
stratagem.
says, fuck you. That's where. Eat it in.
Bojangles specs until you dare speak positive about P-Downy detachments. There's too many of them. I will agree. The prevalence of them is terrifying. When Grey Knights had it as an army rule to begin with, I went, this could be a problem.
Dude, when Grey Knights had it as an army rule, but the rest of their stats read 0, it was fine. Like, when their damage and shit was all 0, no biggie. Fucking carry on doing your weird
NPKs now
shit.
slap.
Yeah, they definitely can. Did anyone else get like sticker shock when they realized that thing was T8? It's the same toughness as a Raider? Who the fuck? Why is its toughness so low?
To be fair, it was what, like T6 before?
I don't fucking know. I just didn't expect it to be 8. Maybe 9. I don't know. I don't play this army, so like them being bad is fine with me. But like, it was just weird that like,
look, it's got a big dude exposed in the middle of it, so it can't be as tough as a Rhino. And a Rhino's T9.
You know what it is? I think that's actually what happened. Is that like most of the people I play against that use those have the print or whatever that goes over top of it, so it looks like a real dreadnought. So I forget that there's just like a man out there doing the alien fucking combat thing.
Yeah. I think the other thing is just the prevalence of 3-inch deep strikes has gotten a little too high. Like, somebody was in a rules writing room and they were like, we need ideas for new special rules that will be in every codex. And somebody shouted 3-inch deep strike. And one guy was like, please don't do that. And that guy got thrown out a window.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Everybody else was
that
like,
guy then had to write the
this
data
one.
slate.
Yeah.
That's probably true. That guy was like, I had a real conversation the other day with a player who will go unnamed, where I was like, what would you do if they put Inceptors up 20 again? And he was like, I would take some other shit out of my list. And I was like, wow, that is a powerful energy for a man currently running 15. Like, and he was just like, yeah, I guess we just don't have scouts anymore. I don't know, man. Like, so maybe that mechanic doesn't belong on a data sheet and it should be tied to like stratagem usage. And even then, maybe limited on what it can be applied to. I don't know. I'm just
Make
saying.
it 2 CP, for God's sakes.
Man, I cut all my Inceptors. Every single one of them.
and this
They're
is-
It
all
was
on the
definitely
list.
John.
And Innis is afraid of Inceptors.
Look, 110-point grenade strat is not my favorite way to play.
If that's how you're using them, I can see why that's bad.
And yeah, Aiden brings up a point, is you can definitely see when some codexes are maybe written by similarly grouped peoples, perhaps, because like there's a common thread between some of them.
So I think
But maybe
that part of the issue there is it's a knock-on effect from the templating that they've been using this edition.
I think what they actually did is the Necron rules writer beat up the Grey Knights player and stole all his rule ideas because they very clearly were not the same design.
It was
process.
Trazin designed the Necron book and just went around pilfering ideas from every other book.
All right,
There were
all
more
right.
rules on
his
Saras's data sheet than on the Grey Knight book.
That's true. That's real.
So here's the question that I have then.
Sure.
Which of each of the armies were the 5 Necron detachments stolen from? Hyperphase Crypt was stolen or Hyperphase Legion was stolen from.
I have a question, Jeremy.
Hypercrypt
Are you
Legion.
assuming that I've read the 3 that aren't the ones that aren't Awakened Dynasty and Celtic Core and Hypercrypt?
Well, there's only
Because
2
I'm
actually after
going
that.
to
They
be
only got
honest, I
5
haven't-
in their book.
Oh, they only got 5. So
Yeah. Because the other one is the Destroyer Cult.
yeah, that one got taken from AdMech.
And then there's the Obeisance Phalanx.
And that one got taken from what's
Like
one
5th
of the
edition?
what's the Marine one that no one uses?
Yes, all of them. Anvil Strike Force?
There you go. That.
I don't actually know what that one does.
No.
You don't even know what it does? You play Marines! What do you mean you don't know what it does? You're the rules guy! What the fuck?
Anvil gives you heavy on everything, and if you already have heavy and you stay still, gives you +1 to wound.
Did
Okay?
you just read that?
No, they also have the best enhancement in Space Marines. They have this
Jeremy
thing about
needed a
umbrella.
minute for
It's still
his
terrible.
cogitator to get there.
It's not a faction that's
There's like a
worth playing. So
I wish we had a soundboard so I could do like a Rolodex flipping noise, like the just like
We don't want a soundboard. I don't need Innis equipped with that ability.
It's
It's
all right.
not
Just
something that
wait
we need
until
in life.
Eldar get Hypercrypt.
it's gonna be bad.
With
I'm not looking.
Phantasm.
Yeah, it's
3-inch deep strike on that army would be pretty funny. I won't
right into a
lie.
fire and fade.
3 Sheep Strike into Shadow Spectre, move into Fire and Fade.
Mhm. What if I had just a movement phase in every phase? Like every phase has more
Phantasm.
movement. Yeah.
No.
Sure, you had your turn, but what if I had my second turn?
no, they're going to get a stratagem that allows them to teleport to a falcon, and then they're going to get another stratagem that allows them to charge after they teleport to that falcon with no range limitation.
And they get more models back as they do it. It'll
Yeah.
be a monolith. Yeah.
Look, I just want to see a Wraith Knight 3 Sheep Striking. That's all I really want for Christmas.
Because they'll forget to put like a thing on it that says like not wraith units.
Sorry, they're gonna bring out the Ayan detachment, and the data sheet rule is gonna be old dev wounds, and that's just gonna be it.
Man, our portrait image for the Discord is gonna have to change back to somebody plucking a wraith knight box off the shelf.
It's all right. We'll change it every time we need to.
Treat the falcon like a webblade gate. Yeah, but the problem is the webblade gate's useless. So
How would you know? Have you read its rules?
yeah, I have.
Yeah, I'm sure he has. Yeah, there you go. It's useless right now.
Well, it's
You
also
know?
useless if you play WTC because they still haven't allowed fortifications back.
Good.
That's true. I really wanna. I think you could. How much nonsense that's like very frustrating to play against the game right now? Would you stop with just like the 9th edition rule that was like, hey, after you come on the board, you just gotta stay there. Like you just get
A lot of shenanigans would be.
Yeah, if you got to just be like, hey, just enough. Just
I don't know how
you
to
did it.
explain how broken the game was in 8th edition when they had that. Because in 7th edition before, you just couldn't charge or like move afterwards, or you were just there, and that was you could like run, but that was it. That was instead of shooting. And then in 8th edition, they were like, "We'll introduce deep strike after charging. You can try and roll a 9." Because it went from random distance, and then they were like, well, but we'll also print warp time to move units. So you'd have like warp talons dropping in 9 away, moving 12 and charging stuff, and it was like really stupid. So that went away in like the first balance data slate of 8th edition in like 2017. You remember the 7 years ago when they learned this design decision, and then so all of a sudden one day they were just like, how about we just removed all of our memories of the bad times and got rid of it. It's like if this edition had just come out without Windows 3 for some reason, and everybody was like, wow, that was
at the very
stupid.
least, I think every single move after coming in or move after actioning thing or shooting or whatever precludes you from being able to charge afterwards. So they have to
I don't
learn
even
from
like
it.
it's all on shooting armies. It doesn't even matter. The first time I watched someone play Thousand Suns with enough Cabal points to double Doombolt and double move and yeet Magnus 48, I was like, what are we doing? Like, what is happening? I don't even understand anymore. You were safe from that guy on Hammer. What the fuck just happened?
Watching TJ do that to someone on fucking yeah, it was on Hammer at the Capital Clash against an Eldari player who's like, so my Wraith Knight is safe back here, and TJ said, for now.
Apart. You're so far away. Why is that not safe? What the fuck? Yeah, it was just wild. Like I just like every time I watch Thousand Suns play, though, to be fair, this might not be a 10th problem. It just feels like Thousand Suns are playing 11th. It's like, what is going on? Like there's just like they're managing 7 resources and blowing you up with armor, like armorless saves and shit. Like, what's going on? No one else does this.
I've just figured out
the thing is
one
that
of the
they just
detachments.
die.
They are 25 tactical marines, a big red dude, and a dream. But
and usually a rhino.
Yeah, it just depends. But like, you know, that dream is pretty good though. Like that dream is pretty real if you're vulnerable to it.
So just don't start on objectives or be in line of sight or not in line of sight.
I figured out what GW is going to do is they're going to keep it at 6 fate dice, but they're going to make one of the detachments you can substitute your opponent's dice for one of your fate dice instead.
I remember when we heard that early on in the
I
rumors
remember-
about the ninth codex.
I used to make jokes about that all the time. That they put
Anthony's
that.
face
Yeah,
was my favorite thing that I've ever seen.
dude, I would
He was
play
like, wait a second.
Dude, no, fuck that. I would play Eldar so fast if you could use fate dice on their roll. Are you kidding? That'd be the best. That should be the Harlequin mechanic.
That'd be the only thing
Like,
you
ha
can
you failed. Would be amazing.
Isn't offering your opponent a 6 the Hidden Knights of Slanesh thing in Age of Sigmar?
Yeah. So in Sigmar, the way that works is you go to do something. Usually what it is you charged a trash unit into their trash unit because you forgot you were playing Hedon Knights, which sucks. And they're like, would you like to hit on a 6? And then you don't take it, and then you either take mortal wounds or you do take it and you're angry, and you give them their army mechanic, which is rough. But yeah, that would be hilarious as Harlequins if you got like even less fate dice, if you got like 4, but you got to be like, and here you go.
You could swap any roll. Roll, you could just be like, here's a
but
1.
before you see it.
Oh yeah, sure, whatever. I don't care. But it'd be
You have a
funny
9-inch charge to make? Here's a 2.
Yeah, it'd be funny if it was anything though. Like that vehicle's about to explode. Here's a 6. You know what I mean? Like just anything would be amazing. That'd be so
it's
funny.
fate.
Yeah.
It would be the actual humor of Gregor just coming through. That's what the rule would be called.
And this is so upset. He's not prepared for Harlequins to have something like this. It's like, why would you speak this into existence? What are you doing?
I hope somebody from the GW rules group like listens to just this bit of audio and is like, yeah, that's amazing.
Please listen to the previous
and
bit
puts
first.
it in there.
Give it to Alpha Legion. Alpha Legion can have that. Fuck Eldar.
No. I don't want Alpha Legion
No.
to have any nice things. The community is too irresponsible about Alpha Legion jokes, and they annoy me now.
No,
So-
I want Alpha Legion to get back the add 3 to explosion rolls thing.
That shit was funny. That's fair.
That was
You can still run it's the Bane Hammer, Bane Sword that has
One
that.
of the Baneblade
Scorpion Blade,
chassis has
it was pretty good.
on a 4+, it detonates automatically if you kill it with that
Three.
cannon.
technically the Scorpion does too, guys.
Yeah,
It's
that's
not
true.
real.
Sorry, it's a forge-pulled unit, so it's not real.
I need the that would be great. That's just what they should do for the Harlequin detachment. That'd be fucking hilarious.
You only get 6 dice. You'll still
For
get
some
6.
reason,
let's be
you'll
honest.
still be allowed to run Fuegan in the Harlequin detachment, so you're just guaranteed doesn't.
I mean,
Yeah, he's like, by the way, you failed your invuln.
I won't lie. The RTT that I played at my local store had such minimal terrain that I'm thinking of just bringing 2 Bane Blades to the next one, and one is the Bane Sword because it will blow up vehicles on a 4-up, and its cannon is actually good at killing
It's a
vehicles.
3+. I'm sure it's a 3+.
Dude, I was having so much more fun with 40k when I was playing Harlequins. What am I doing? I should go back.
Yeah, but
to
none
that.
of your opponents were having fun. So
That's
you know.
That's the point.
Yeah, that was the
point.
dude,
is
that was
that.
the Taos. That was the Taos Toadies Merida. It was great.
You
When
the
gotta think
Bane
about it
Sword.
now, though. That's what Necron players are doing to you. You're just on the other end.
No, that's not true at all. I have a perfectly fine time into Necrons. It's an everybody else problem.
Oh, well, then stop whinging about it.
It's only a problem because it prevents me from playing Drukhari. That's what makes me sad.
Play it anyways.
No, have you can't even say that. You know, you've been on the other side. Francois messaged me and was like, I'm gonna go play Jeremy with Drukhari, and he's playing Satan. And I was like, listen, buddy, that's a mistake. And he was like, no, I think it'll be all right. And then he got there, and I just got like a line of periods as a response.
That game was very silly. He killed every single Wraith I had except for one. And then we looked at the board. I still had all 3 Satans at full health on the important objectives. It just went.
Dude,
And he had no Incubi left. He had his Scourge left, but they weren't going to kill me.
I have played that game exactly once, and it caused I think it was so there's a rule with Team USA is that we have a quota of psychic damage that has to be inflicted between WTCs in order for us to do well. And it doesn't have to be me that fills the quota, I just want to point out, but somehow
It's going to be.
it seems to be. And I think I got most of this year's quota in that one game.
You're forgetting about the Ben's quota that he got in against World Eaters.
I was involved in that, I think. Innes is not approving of this joke. But yeah, it was not good. I'll put it that way. It was definitely something. I got one of the Catan though. One of the 4 of them died. So Fucking write that shit down.
All I know is I wrote a Blunderdome list for Goonhammer, and I was told that it was like too good for Necrons immediately. And I was trying to make it bad.
Advertise that yet, Nathan.
Oh.
Come on.
All right.
Whoops.
My apologies. I got excited. Too excited. I apologize.
All right. Do we have any other random bullshittery about the metagame that we want to talk about?
No, let's do our advertisements and then go into question.
That was the direction.
I went and won another team event.
Oh, we should do that. Yeah, let's do that. That sounds fun, actually. Talk about that, Jeremy.
Jeremy beats on the French Canadians, Volume 6.
It is Volume 6, actually. I went through the stack.
Oh, really? Easy.
You should put them on your wall, just right behind you, on that little white bit underneath the sound.
You should wear them all like a Russian general next time you go to an event.
No,
throw off a coat.
This team, or variants
style.
of this team, so the 4 or 5 of us that have been playing together across the last 4 team events that go to every time we go to Montreal, we have not dropped a round yet. I look forward to the day that we drop a round because it means that they have, gotten that good that they can beat us. I'm looking forward to that.
Or one of you is really hammered.
Also possible. Quebec does have some pretty good beer. However, one of the things that we have continuously joked about after every event is walking in with the Michael Phelps, where we just wear all of the medals that we've earned at the previous Imperial East tournaments.
You 100% should do it. Just come back in, just all of them, just protect.
I also don't want to get killed.
If that's all it takes for them to win a round, like, you earned it. Right. How was the event, Jeremy?
It was good. It was put on by Bruno and the Imperial East crew. They've been running events out of the Montreal area for the last couple of years, maybe a little bit longer. Bruno always puts on a fantastic event. It was 16 teams of 8 players each, 5 rounds. We started off in a pod system, which was basically derived from the teams that had attended his events previously were ranked. And then if you were a new team, you were inserted in there somewhat randomly. So we played through a pod phase and we played through the finals. We went through Scari's team Stutter Scrub in the 4th round. And then we faced off against Bruno's team, Imperialists United, or Prime. I think it was United this time, in the finals. It was, it was myself, Francois Lalonde, Chris Haynes, Jason Sparks, Devin Swan, Kier Horniak, Max Dubois, and Tim Dietlifs. So 5 of those we've been playing together for, I think this was our 4th team event in Montreal now. But yeah, it was a great time. We brought Necrons. Devin had one practice game with the triple Satan, triple Wraith Brick Canoptic Court list beforehand, and then went 20-20-20, 10-20. And that 10 was a draw against Sisters on Ritual where they forgot to clock themselves.
Yo, Sisters are just like sneaking through, just really good.
Really good.
No one talks good about them.
Very solid.
They're also god awful to play. Like there's just like 1,000 things. You're like, what? Who does what with the Y? Fuck.
Yeah, at least you don't have to handle the like 17 billion like Miracle Dice cannon.
Yeah, it's a little less obtuse now that the slate happened. Actually, that was a good change.
You look at your opponent; they're holding like 17 dice. You're like, well, I just can't interact with that squad. Cool.
Yeah, I can't go anywhere near that area.
So the 24-inch can't deal damage, can't walk their zone. Cool, great.
Pretty much. Yeah, it's a lot more tame now that you can only do that twice, but it still takes a moment of explaining to your opponent. So I have a 1 here. That Dialogus is going to turn to a 6, and that Palatine makes it lethal, and you die.
Good.
Just natural to 6 on the save. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Definitely the high point of that weekend was me playing into Canoptic Court Necrons who had no idea what Votan did, and I knew exactly what his army did. And kiting the Void Dragon for 5 battle rounds, so he killed 1 Sagittar and two warriors, and that was it. Because every single turn I made sure he was outside of a 12-inch charge, except for the one time when I was like, you know what, the Sagittar's can stay there, you can kill it, but you can't charge it.
I really enjoy every game I play against Catan where they're not Hypercrypt, where I'm just like, yeah, man, I just don't care about you at all.
Nightbringer
sure
also
can
died
catch
turn 2
my
to
scouts.
the Ignore Mods Hearthguard.
Are you running them with plasma now, or just charging them?
No, I charged him. So I was just like, all right, I'm gonna wrap it right here. Do you want to leave Nightbringer there, or do you want to try for a 10-inch charge into me?
Disrespectful. I love it.
I didn't really want that game to last long, so
That is one nice thing about team events is when your game ends fast, you get a whole bunch of people you can watch and go and get drinks for, and then not actually get drinks for them and just go and do your own thing. It's great.
I feel like our team was pretty on top of taking care of each other at Alpine.
Yeah, we were.
As the person that was often done first.
It is frequently quite nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Alpine. I love any tournament that has dinner at the venue on the schedule.
Dude,
Like,
it's the best.
That
That was
Joe's
one of the.
gonna be there for War Games.
Yeah, Joe's going to be there for more games live. Someone was saying in the chat before, which would be sick.
That is hype.
Yeah, I loved Alpine. Alpine was amazing. I'm super excited to go back. Alpine was dope. We have ETC in March. Like, there's a lot of shit to be excited for coming up. Like,
Alpine's
with the
dope because we're
quickness.
going to get to beat Team England.
oh, is Team England going to send some feeble attempt to stop us? That's adorable.
It's going to be great.
A for effort, England. You probably get fifth like you do at WTC.
Oh.
We only potted Poland down to like third, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll be fine.
After Brian tore out their heart and ate it in front of them. Yeah.
Amazing.
Look, I think you did worse to Victor with those 4+. But
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, I don't know. Like, that was not supposed to happen, but it certainly did. So.
All right.
Nothing will beat the game at Alpine of the Custodies opponent being like, yeah, I thought this was a bad matchup. And I was like, yes. Stay over there, Shadowkeeper man. Smoke and Mirrors 12-8.
look, what if they give Custodians like Shadowkeepers back in the book? I'm going to be so upset.
Please, no.
I mean, there definitely are. Almost 1,000%. Come on. There's
No, give me an uppy downy Custodies.
That's going to be the Emissaries.
You can have that.
The
Just
Emissaries is that one.
Just
yeah.
don't give them back Shadowkeeper. That shit sucks.
with 3-inch deep strike that I can charge from.
Whatever you want. Just not Shadowkeeper.
If they were going to give anybody that, they would have given it to like the combined Dark Angels one. So they're never getting that.
That's true. That was sad that just didn't get any cool rules at all.
Doesn't exist.
Unforgiving
It doesn't
got
even
nerfed
have good
in the
data
Dark
sheets
Angels
in it.
Codex.
Good.
Yeah.
I played against that once. It was good.
Yeah, they got rid of the -1 damage strat.
Oh, it would have been a lot less good without that.
Yeah, they changed it to -1 to wounded up to SCP, Anthony.
Got it.
All right.
Real good.
On that depressing note, Innes, do the plugs.
Oh no! Oh, this is so terrible every week.
You've done it really well the last couple of weeks. I don't know what you're complaining
He's
about.
just gonna read. It's gonna be great. He's
I
got
don't have it.
this.
I actually don't know where it is. It's like somewhere up there.
Oh fuck.
That might make this really hard, actually.
All right, everybody, it's time to do the plugs. Bear with me for a couple minutes here. Thank you, everybody, for being with us for what is currently episode 78 Stat Check. We're just doing a bit of an ad read now before we go into the show questions and the Discord questions and all the onboard people in the YouTube chat. If you would like to see the back episodes of the show, please do check out youtube.com/StatCheck. You can see back episodes of all of the main show, all of the extra shows like X1 and Into the Matrix, and the new and upcoming Take All Comers, which has its first live show in 2 days' time at some interminable time that somebody's going to fact check for me right now while I'm talking. Somebody, Nathan or Jeremy,
7:30 Pacific.
there you go. On Thursday, the 8th of February, that is our brand new show covering all manner of things relating to Lucas, Naj, and Tyler as they are embarking on their singles and teams journey as part of Team USA playing for the Pacific Northwest. They're going to be doing a wonderful wealth of content coming from the Best in Faction umbrella over to us for their new show. So please do check that out. We are super hyped to have them on board, as well as the other shows that we have going on the network with X1 and Into the Matrix. X1, I assume, will have content coming up covering ITT, Para Cup, Euro Truck Cup, Alpine Cup, all the good various cup events of the UK and Europe, and the Champions Cup in Dallas in September, and WTC and all that good stuff. So do check them out. And then X1, they just recently did their Nottingham show. They should have another show out next month covering something new within the world of being an adult and playing 40k, which is something that not a lot of us can relate to, but I'm sure if you can, it's a show that you should be checking out. If you're interested in hearing all the other stuff from that, you can check that out on various things like Spotify, all of your like Apple Podcasts, anywhere you can find any of that content, you can check it out there. You should also check out patreon.com/statcheck, where you can get access to our wonderful, wonderful Discord, which now has will have a Take All Comers section where you can ask them questions and all that sort of thing for their show, as well as all the other ones, or just interact with our wonderful community. We've recently renamed all of our channels to be readable and also illegible at the same time. So whichever side of the coin you fall on, we have something for you in the StatCheck Discord. We should be launching up the next 5-check league within probably by the end of this month. We should have that one up and running. I will at some point get around to doing the prizes for the previous one, which is definitely a thing on the to-do list. Okay, next up is the actual sponsors. So red-dragon.ca, you'll have seen their bumper at the start of the video. They're a wonderful, wonderful site that supports us in all kinds of ways, like sending me Butterfingers to make sure I don't lose weight. You know, all that kind of... Yeah, that's why, yeah. If you're a member of our Patreon, you can get a 20% off discount code there. So that's another reason to check it out. But otherwise, they've got our March objectives and things like that, mats, all that cool stuff, as well as all of your various wonderful gaming store needs. They do ship internationally, but they are focused in Canada. Nathan even has a box to open as we come up to the end of the show. If it has Butterfingers in it, I'm killing Dan. You can check out.
Send them to you.
No, just in general, because he cheated on me with Nathan for the Butterfingers. Yeah. You can check out Saltar Games on Etsy, where you can use the code StatCheck5, Stat5 on Etsy, and you can get 5% off on all of your orders there. We have things like tokens and markers for Battleship tests and all that kind of stuff. Anything like that you're interested in, you can get StatCheck branding, little combat widgets, and all that good stuff. Lastly, you can check out Whale and Utani, where you can use the code StatCheck5. I like that these are different. We should really consolidate those. StatCheck5, they get 5% off on Whale and Utani's terrain. They're the guys that provide all the terrain for WTC, as well as any other format that you're looking for. You can probably find terrain that is similar there on there, or drop a GMS and see if he can give you a helping hand there. Lastly, check out stat-check.com/coaching, where you can get either coaching from either myself, Typhus, or now Jeremy, available on that website. So drop us a line there. There's all the content information, prices, and services we offer that are available there. It's a wonderful, wonderful time as we come up to the post-data slate, as we start prepping up for all the big events of the year. So if you're interested in getting a helping hand on anything that you're working on, drop us a line either on the website or at coaching@stat-check.com. Stat 15 for Saltar Games. I like that these are complicated. Can you change it to Stat Check 15, AJ, just while I'm here? That'd be great, because it would really save me a lot of thinking. All right, Nathan, what's in the box?
I don't actually think there's anything weird in this box, but I didn't open the other box correctly, apparently. So I'm opening a box that he sent. So I don't actually know if there's anything strange in this box, which probably means there is something strange in this box. But I don't think there is. We're just
anyone who's wondering, this box is from the Red Dragon, one of our sponsors. Dan has a habit of sending boxes of stuff with us whenever we ask for something. Several members of the team, or if you don't ask for something, this is true. This is how Innes ended up with 6 pounds or 6 kilos of Butterfingers.
It was 144 Butterfingers. That's all I know.
Ooh, Venoms.
Well, I heard him put them down. They're definitely dead.
4 Venoms?
Yep. That's all it takes.
Lilith?
Woo!
I'm going to have to censor that. No feedbacks on YouTube.
So yeah, it's a perfectly normal box, but this is my purgatory for not.
I hope you open the box up and it's just he's repackaged it and it's actually just Butterfingers.
That would be funny. He would have gone through a lot of work because they're also plastic wrapped.
I mean, most stores do have the capacity to re-plastic wrap things.
So. Not like it's hard. Yeah. So I really hope.
But yeah,
a Baneblade sprue.
You've also now given him an idea if he hasn't done that already.
Oh no! Look, I'm just gonna go on to show questions now. I like that we got $2. Thank you, Ed Miller, for $2.
Hey, Ed Miller runs BFS. I love that guy.
We are rolling on to the show questions. So there are 2 ways to get your question guaranteed to be answered on the show. One is to be a member of our Discord, where you go through the Patreon, where you can ask questions in the show question thread every week, or you can throw us a super chat on YouTube. And then there's a secret third way, which is ask a really interesting question that we actually want to answer, or that we really want to answer. In which case, we may, if we have time, make it on. However, I really want to go to bed, so we're going to go through these.
All right, Nathan, we don't have that many this week, so it's going to be great and very easy. I promise. We're going to start in the Discord, where, like Innes said, if you ask a question in the Discord thread, we will answer it, even if you ask it right now, or up to when we end, probably.
Even if it's really dumb, we will almost always answer it.
It's true, although sometimes I take psychic damage while reading them, so it's not great. Derek asks, why do Catan have these stats and abilities that they do? Why? The Swarm Lord wants to know, Gilliman wants to know, the Lion wants to know, everyone that's around 280 points wants to know.
Look, Catan are a very balanced data sheet of 380 points. Unfortunately,
Maybe
They're
they're
also a really balanced data sheet when they can only move 6 inches a turn and don't have any other way of moving.
they're still pretty good in Canoptic Core.
No,
That's
they would
not
still
like-
be really good in Canoptic.
No,
yeah.
I mean with the 380 points.
Oh, yeah. You know what would be funny? If it was just a typo and they just like don't want to go back. Like if someone just
Like they're supposed to have like a 6-up feel no pain?
No. If there like someone hit the 2 when they were supposed to hit the 3 at the start of the cost, and they were just like, why are people so mad? And like in their documentation, it has a 380 point cost, but like in the real world, and they're just like, I don't understand. That's like a guffaw I would expect from GW at this point.
You'd think we would see that in like one of the other language versions, though.
Nah, it's way funnier if it was just like the master one that went to the translation, like the intern hit a 2 instead of a 3, and it just away it went.
I think she movement like 2 and unable to teleport. Then they'd be balanced.
Movement 2.
Additionally,
Can't
can we
advance.
Can we stop getting teehee everybody uppy downy detachments, please?
Yeah, dude, we all hate it. No one's happy about this.
I'm looking
should
forward
be
to
like
the sisters one. That
1
won't make
unit,
any
2
sense.
units, not 2 units, 3 units.
Dude, the
Yeah.
the crypt, whatever, the
4
hyper crypt
units?
getting
Yeah, I know,
3,
it's dumb.
4 is like, what?
All right, John asks, GSC again, do we drop the Abbey brick now that Gene Stealers are so cheap?
Dude, you shouldn't have had the Abbey brick in there
Abbey brick
since fucking before WTC.
Cut aberrants, they're not good unless you're game and play 20, in which case you have my respect, but not my desire to copy you.
Yeah.
Don't
Second
play
que-
aberrants. They've been terrible. They've been terrible for the entire edition.
What the second question's follow up, which is what's been the evolution you all have seen in the meta with them? I assume aberrants.
People
I-
still
go
keep
away.
putting them.
Yeah. They're really good. They're a fucking sick way to go 3-3.
All right. Bryn has a question. What are Anthony's thoughts on World Eater Forge Fiends?
I hate them. I think they're real bad. I'm not sure if this was bait or not, so I'm just gonna try and answer it seriously. This happens a lot with World Eaters specifically. The army mechanic buffs a certain set of things. This happened in 9th as well. So like you don't want to take allies that you don't spend all this effort getting these buffs who don't get these buffs. And you don't want to take guns who don't get any buffs at all from these buffs, except for very specifically +2 move or Angron's shitty 1 turn later rerolls that you're now holding back Angron so you could shoot with your it just like there's a lot of steps about this that are
I think it's
wrong.
Found Death.
So what you're saying is that World Eater Mauler Fiends are really good.
World Eater Molefines are like almost good. Like there's like buffs you could apply to Mauler Fiends to make them good. Yeah,
They do
like,
need the field no pain.
they're pretty close. Like if Mauler Fiends had a base feel no pain, I'd think about it. Like if they just had a 6-up and it went to a 5, maybe we have a conversation. But like as it is, not so much, you know? Or if they were base movement 12 like I thought they were, they're movement 10. What the fuck?
And then- Bryn has a second question. How has Jeremy been finding Votan? Where do you think they fall post data slate?
So I'll admit I actually haven't played a post-slate Votan game yet. But I don't think that they changed all that substantially. Most lists you can either drop a Sagittar or do some small tweaking with bikes, and your list more or less functions the same as it did before.
You'll try to fit Grim Demeanor in now as well.
I always had Grim Demeanor in my
Yeah,
list
I'll
anyways
do
because we ruled it properly up here.
most people
There's
I know
a-
had Grim Demeanor anyway. It's just there was a bunch of stuff it was really good for.
There's a thing that tends to happen post data slate where any faction that got worse, even if it only got a little bit worse, just doesn't see as much experimentation to begin with because we kind of know what it does. Everybody's played it already. Nobody's that excited about playing like the same thing but a bit worse. Whereas any faction that got buffed or changed in like a different direction, everybody's like, "Well, I'll try that out," and then I always have Votan to go back to, kind of thing.
Yeah,
yeah.
like I know how to play Votan. And my sister's army, I've wanted to put a lot more work into them lately, so I've been playing more sisters.
Yeah, I definitely started on Drukhari and not World Leaders for that reason.
The next one is from Frank, which is, with Templars making out like bandits, do you think builds will start jamming 10 plus Sword Brethren into every list?
I think that Innis's build probably won't, but I think that past that, it seems like...
Yeah, I don't think that you would ever want Sword Brethren in Ironstorm.
I mean, you definitely could. Dude, I watched a Helbrecht Sword Brethren Mercy is Weakness activation the other day, and that was not cool. Like,
it's exactly the same as in Righteous Crusaders. If you're willing to spend the CP on it, it's fine. You could very easily find the point. Like I say, you could like take my Ironstorm list and you could find the points to put in like Helbrecht and Impulsor and a Sword Brethren, and it would be completely reasonable and a fine thing to do. And if that's the direction you wanted to take it, I couldn't fault you for it. However, I don't think you need it. It's an option, not a requirement. Whereas if you're playing like Gladius, yeah, man, just jam Sword Brethren. You're going to be
100% in that case.
Yeah.
The second question is, what detachment do you think could see a rise in popularity in the new meta? I guess for Space Marines.
Dude, I think Space Marines are legitimately like one of, if not maybe the best army in the game that isn't Necrons.
Ironstorm and Gladius are both really good. And I think
Ironstorm, like, yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that's really good in Space Marines right now. It's not super exciting, but it is really good.
Gladiator Reapers do this wonderful thing where they're good into everything that Necrons could do. It doesn't matter what Necron build you're playing, because some of them try to sideline, like, they don't play Wraith, they don't play Catan, they don't play blah, blah. It doesn't matter what you're playing, a Gladiator Reaper will kill it dead in Necrons, which is strongly, like, positive. That is a very strong Deity, and a little bit carrying the Codex, I think. There's other things you can do, but that guy being good. I think Marines are, certainly probably, I would definitely have them top 3. I could see them being top 2.
I think kill triple Monolith, Alex. Faster than the Monolith kills them.
I will run 2 Lancers as well, and I'll make that my concession to the triple Monolith meta.
Ben's got a 2-part question, which is, how do we get buffs for AdMech? I'm struggling to get my friends who own the army to play, or even play it at all. I'm going to an RTT this weekend and taking them, expecting to get absolutely dumpstered due to the number of Krons, Grey Knights, and Custodes in the new meta. With such low player numbers and occasional event results, are the Doomsayers right and just pack it away until 11th?
I think you can...
Sorry, please, Anthony.
I think like there's like a reasonable build in AdMech of like the Hunter cohort. It's just god awful to play, and it's really expensive, and that's a huge like the part of AdMech that like gets talked about a bunch in the Stat Check Discord because we have a wholesome community full of like anti-capitalists. Is that like that army is expensive as shit, man. Like the good version of AdMech right now, I'm pretty sure is like the 60 reduce your OC dudes in 6 boats with like 1 million of the flamer dudes. That army's like $4,000. It's like what
it's
I
also
like
pain and suffering to play on the tabletop because 30 of those flamer dudes is just like
yeah, I'm sure it's awful. Like and again, it's like legitimately pretty good. Like if you don't put it into Terminators, it'll like in team's perspective, especially like it'll 10 the game. Like you're just it scores a bunch, unlucky, sorry. It's gonna be there for a while. But it's again like, would you like a used Honda Civic or this AdMech army unpainted or built? Like
it's a hobby project too, because it's not like those models are easy to paint, easy to assemble, or easy to transport because they're all spiky bits. They mix like the worst parts of Drukhari and Tau armies together from an assembly perspective, with tiny joints and spiky nonsense coming off of them in all the places that are bad.
Just very quickly running through it, like give it a check out like Malik Amin Rubio's build from ITT. He went like 4-1 with wins into Necrons and Eldar, a small loss to like 120 Crusader Black Templars, like very, very comfortably like assaulted. That list was also 120 Black Templars playing like 20 heavy intercessors to get +1 save against damage damage 1 attacks. That's just like no sell in AdMech army. So like very
like, it just
very
like
army.
Goes and stands places, and like it's not exciting and it's not fun. I'm sure it's not what an AdMech player wants, right? Like AdMech was one of those books that I had my eye on as like I could do it. Like as a tech guy, you know, I would love the idea of me wanting to play that army. Also, you can get sick AdMech commissions. That's real. And like they just don't do anything. Like
they
anything
that to reprint Metallic and Long. That was all they had to do.
Yeah, like that detachment, right? Like just take Metallica, take the Vet cohort AOR, slam them together, put it in the new book. But like, yeah, they just didn't. I don't know.
I mean, that is the GSC theme, basically.
I
Let's be
definitely have
honest here.
propaganda free-handed on all my trucks. So
Yeah, that's sick. The like, I think Tori from this, like, she's in the Stat Tech Discord, has like a really like a long bit basically where she talks about how like what AdMech is supposed to be like based on the lore, and it is terrifying. Like these big like super soldier mutant and we get just none of that. We get like bad weaponry stapled to two cheap bodies. It's very confusing. Like I don't. They like.
I mean, if Sakaar and Ruststalkers and Infiltrators actually played like they were in the lore, you'd be playing them 100% of the time.
Yeah, without a question, I'd be playing 60 Sicarians. Like I love them. They're really cool. Like, and yeah, I just does
not spark joy.
Yeah, they just didn't. Like the whole AdMech Codex, you like put it on a table, and I've seen like a bunch of variants of it played now, and it just doesn't. It's sad because it could be really cool.
Just Cybernetica cohort should be so much cooler with all the stuff from 30K.
Yeah.
I won't lie. Like all the giant robots and stuff that they just didn't want to transfer from 30K to 40K.
Yeah.
Whatever. I mean,
this one day.
One day.
never. It's funnier that it died.
We're going to the next. No, it's not. But the next question is from Sean in similar thoughts. How far do we think GW is going to go when it comes to rehabilitating a faction that has already received a codex? We probably won't see Drukhari-esque new detachments, but what are the odds that we'd see them revisit existing ones and make them suck less? Largely looking at the Cybernetica detachment, which barely has a rule at all, and for some reason was given the design space of exclusively having strats that only work in your command phase.
I think that like the quickest way I can answer this question is that I'm happy that none of the armies I main have a codex yet. Like I am terrified because like if NIDS is the example, I want no part of having a codex. Like
it's so depressing how bad the new codex is,
dude.
Like it's not even that it's like not reasonably powerful, it's just the dullest book.
Yeah, it's probably fine. Like most of the time, it's fine. But it is blindingly boring, and it is just doing fine enough that it apparently constantly needs points increases.
I don't know. That was an internal balancing.
Was it?
Whatever you want to go with.
We'll just nerf all the data sheets that everybody's using in every list, and then we'll buff some shit ones. That's not an internal balancing. That's a lowering of upper power level.
But Tyrannifexes went down 55 points.
They sure did
could have gone down 95.
Dude, they went up 50 between the index and the codex and got data sheet nerfed.
No facts.
So like I hope that things get better, but like it's really hard. Like that specific thing about 10th is very difficult to be optimistic about, I think.
However, in terms of what levers GW would pull on or use to breathe life into a faction, I don't think that they will rule out anything. If AdMech Codex came out last year and a year from now it's still struggling, I could see them doing something drastic, like changing how a detachment works, changing how an army role works, doing something like that where it's just like, all right, this sucks. Let's slap this on it.
One nice thing
I just don't think
Sorry, no, Nathan, please.
I was just going to say, I don't think we've seen them pull any of those levers just yet with existing codex books.
No, but it's also been too soon to do that. Like Marine Codex came out, 5 months ago? Not even?
The Marine Codex is doing great. Marines are fine.
Marines are also kind of boring, but yeah, they're fine.
Tyranids and Marines are both fine.
I think Marines and Tyranids are like completely different conversations. Marines have like a bunch of like builds that I would play if I wasn't playing teams. Like NIDS, you could not force me to play if it meant my starting spot if I didn't play them. Like they're completely different sides of the spectrum.
I think Marines mostly suffer from Gladius being the most interesting detachment they printed, and it being the index one, which made everything that came out with it just look dull as shit.
But like,
despite some of it being like quite powerful, Ironstorm is a good detachment, but it's not a fun detachment.
Sure, but like again, I would play 100 games of Ironstorm before I played 3 as fucking Crusher.
Yeah, but I played 3 as Crusher before I played 3 as Anvil Strike Force. So
sure, but like
again,
we're gonna
company.
I actually don't hate First Company. It was really First Company was okay when Deathwing Command Squad existed. Now, maybe it does just suck. But
didn't make it.
They still exist.
Next.
The next question is from Ben. which is how excited are Innes and Anthony for Pyra Cup?
Oh man, yeah,
I just
very
give up making
excited.
ass of myself this year.
Yeah, you got some work to do. I'm really excited. There's a bunch of cool stuff about Pyra, but like one of the cooler parts is that for one of the members of Team USA, it's actually their first time out of the country. So that's pretty sick.
Who's that? Out of curiosity.
For Michael, it'll be his first time out. So, and I remember like my first time out, and I was like, we had like the conversation of like, hey, you're going to like a high pressure thing, your first time leaving the country. Mostly just follow the instructions given for the 40K and don't get too drunk after the 40K. If you accomplish those two things, great success. But yeah, there's a lot of parts about Pyra that I'm super excited for.
I've been Liam's Rosebush.
Yeah, I get to see Liam's
Face
beloved.
first.
I do get to keep making the joke that I'm like the only returning starter player of the team that Team USA is bringing, which is technically true given our titles. It's me and 7 Academy players, which is accurate in the strictest sense. Also, if you sent us to WTC with this team right now, I'm pretty sure we'd podium, but that's irrelevant.
That's burying the lead a little bit there.
Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Maybe some of those people are washed up and bad. Who knows?
That might include Anthony. He doesn't know yet. He's not played much this year.
Yeah, that's right.
The next question is from Ed B, which is how many games of League of Legends has Innes played in the last 24 hours?
I don't play League.
Yeah, he's clean.
It's Snap.
It is Snap. How many games of Snap have you played in the last 24 hours?
The season reset today, so I played like 12. I played like 12 to get my like bare minimums and do my missions, and I've been off it. I don't know. I play Snap like when I'm doing other stuff or like lying in
like
bed.
during pairings.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mostly during my opponent's like movement phase. When I don't care what they're doing because I don't play Overwatch armies
or reactive move armies. That was really the worst part about playing Drukhari is you had to keep an eye on your opponent's movement phase.
Derek's question is: have you noticed anything intriguing that you missed on the first pass through the slate?
Can of worms that could open.
Oh no!
What is
this
this
fight
can
on
of
death?
worms?
Is this the fight on death thing?
No, the fight on death one is actually
disembarking
fine. What?
Okay.
Is this the disembarking thing?
No, that one's that one's a little bit less of a mess because you could just be like intent. It's they oopsied two or three words out of the errata on rules that allow you to be set up in your first, second, or third movement phase.
Oh no!
Because the wording on it, and it's not going to be played this way because it's dumb, but the wording on it is missing one key thing to make sure that it actually works as intended. So I'm going to pull it up to make sure that I actually grab the right one. But essentially what happened here...
This is going to suck.
I'm looking forward to this being how the next UKTC event is played.
Oh, no.
I got like 2 months before the next one of those.
I didn't think about that one. WTC has already addressed it in their updated FAQ, so we're safe there.
Boys.
In the meantime, to my team.
All right, so this is the wording of this new entry. Arriving from strategic reserves in the first battle round. Abilities that allow units to be set up in the reinforcement step of your first, second, or third movement phase using the strategic reserves treat the current battle round number as being one higher than it actually is in the first battle round only, unless explicitly stated otherwise.
Okay.
What they left out there, or what they appear to have left out, because it led to a rather long call where we were like, is this how that works? Between me and another player was, so out of phase rules always have to be like, if it contains something that refers to a phase, then it only works in that phase. The problem is that the way that this was worded, it implies that these just always work.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Cool. Neat.
Which means that per that, if you were to take the pure raw, which hopefully no one does, any ability that allows you to be set up in the first, second, or third turns in your movement phase now work in your opponent's movement phase as well. Which means you can rapid ingress turn 1 with first to the fray, if you take that interpretation.
Does that normally put a strat reserve in first phase deep strike? It would work on the wolves one, I guess.
It would work on the the wolves one. So here's the thing that makes all this more complicated.
Yeah. Like, it's never gonna. No one's doing this shit.
I know, and this is one of the they did ask of the anything intriguing. I like rule stuff. This shit came up, and I went, "Ow, why?" All right, that one guy breakdown for slow kids who don't understand. So the way the rule is structured, I'm going to read that section again, and I'm going to read how it could have been written to prevent this issue. Treat the current battle round as being one higher than it actually is in the first battle round only, unless explicitly stated otherwise. Full stop. Or treat the current battle round as being one higher in your turn than it actually is in the first battle round only, unless explicitly stated otherwise. Add that in there, no problems. But that's
mistake.
This is why I also said WTC looked at that and said, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to the next question because this is making me real depressed.
Just
look,
play.
If that's the only thing that I can find in that entire rules commentary that gives me a pause, that's good.
Yeah.
Just play at a local that uses the WTC FAQ. Easy.
That's what we do. It's been updated,
That's what we do.
So now I'm going to use it again.
Yeah.
JS asks, do you think the US Open will come up north more, events closer to the Canadian border / in Canada?
Dude,
apparently not.
Dude, what the fuck?
They got rid of more events. They got rid of events this year. It's
also
right.
Did they? Because weren't there only 3 opens last
They
year?
got rid of Warhammer Fest.
There's also no teams this year.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, KC Teams was replaced by a singles event in Texas.
Somewhere else. I don't know.
There's one in Dallas, there's one in Tampa, and then there's one in Tacoma. I guess.
Yeah, so they're repeating Tacoma again, but that's not too surprising because apparently that's been their most successful one. Going back to Tampa, I'm like, I don't like the weather there.
Yeah, the weather was the problem part of Tampa. Oh, Tampa. Sorry, Atlanta was the bad one. My bad. Tampa's fine. My bad, Tampa. I'm hating for no reason. Tampa didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, no teams is a big sad because that was a lot of fun to watch people go through.
Sorry, we got Champions Cup. We'll be fine.
That's true.
I'm just like a little sassy that they brought. There's like no event in like the Midwest or East, like Northeast part of the United States, like at all.
So they'd have to print a whole bunch of new codexes for that event.
To be fair, they do have Nova and Adepticon that I think they help out with.
I don't know. They're helping out the terrain this year at Adepticon's all
bit.
GW now.
It's
GW layouts. It's
GW layouts with hills on top of
with Adepticon terrain.
Just print the plates. The plates are so easy to make. Why is
They're going to have the plates?
They're putting hills on top of the plates.
Whatever, that's fine. That's stupid, but whatever.
It's going to look really funny, and that's all that there is to it, but it's fine.
This is true.
It's better than what it was.
I would absolutely love to see a Canada Open. In the meantime, I think we're just going to have to run one ourselves.
Petawawa.
I mean, Tacoma's like basically in Canada, isn't it? Like it's most of the
wrong fucking coast, but sure.
Wrong coast for half.
Yeah, but you Canada spans both coasts.
Like 3/4 of our population is in this area.
You just referred to the west coast of Canada as wrong coast. Just fuck all y'all.
They're welcome to come here and try to win something.
Ooh. I mean, at least this time it's Jeremy saying it, so nobody will get mad in the comments about us ribbing on Canada this week.
Dude,
it'd be on like Nova Scotia or something.
Y'all can't talk at the same time; it doesn't work.
Details.
All right, we're gonna go to the next question. No, we're just skipping it. I don't care what you guys had to say. Can we get a Butterfinger stock check?
36 plus whatever's left over, which I think is like a third of a box.
Why did you go that so fast?
Because there's a box of 36 in my cupboard.
Oh, okay.
And there's like a third of a box left, and then we went through one box over the course of 2 months, and I gave one away.
So Ben, I'm not East Coast. I'm Central Canada.
45, 50.
All right, so we're going to go through questions from chat. There's some super chats. I'm going to do those first, and then we're going to go through questions that I thought were interesting and decided to put stars on because that's just how I'm going to roll. Thank you, Ed Miller, again for the $2. You didn't ask a question, but you could ask a question now, I guess, if you wanted. Thank you, Evil Granny, for $5. I love YouTube names. What do you think about the FLG no terrain within 4 inches of the center? Without something like Cali Cup fixed centerpieces, I'm worried gun versus no gun is much worse.
I think that we should all just wait for them to play fixed like humans.
They're
I think-
so close.
I think at this point that like maybe it's me. Maybe I'm just burnt out from all the arguing about player placed. But I just feel like the longer that we like continue to be like, what's the best? There isn't one. It's just gotta go. Like it's okay. I understand that like this was how we did things for a bit, but it's just like that doesn't work like that no more. We can't be doing this. There is no best way to do player placed. The best way to do player placed is to stop doing player placed. Move
Agreed.
on.
And especially since they now make the GW set, there is nothing stopping them.
What are we doing? Like
Just either use the GW layouts, or if you don't want to be beholden to GW changing things on you, make your own layouts. They're not that hard to do. UKT manages it just fine.
dude, or make your just like use the GW plates. I'm sure those cheap asses ain't changing shit. They can't change Necrons. They're not changing their terrain pack. Like,
They did change from 9th to 10th, so be careful about that one.
sure, you might have to cut some shit in half, whatever. But like,
They're actually quite easy to make. Let's be honest. You can just cut them out of cardboard if you want.
dude, I was playing on. Do I have any here? For a minute.
Paper NAF.
Yeah, dude, I was running practice at my house off the mail I had with L's drawn on them. Like, you can figure it out.
Covered liner. It's cheap, it's quick, and it
There
looks
you go.
pretty good.
Nailed it. Just like, I don't know. It's kind of trolling.
Thank you, that one guy, for cries and overpriced abbeys.
I'm sorry that they're so expensive. They're cool. I want to play Muscle Beach maybe one day,
Sorry,
but
John.
not today.
Dorian Bashaw asks, for teams, Vanguard Nids or Endless Swarm?
Which version of coin flip will help you sleep better at night? That's all you're asking.
Invasion Fleet's the most consistent. Swarm is the hardest, is the easiest to like force bad pairings with, but will get smashed if it doesn't get a good pairing. Vanguard is coin flippity.
I have not.
Choice based on those.
I don't know that I've seen a good matchup exist for Swarm going second. I don't think it exists. I don't think it's real.
I've seen quite a few
There are
things,
some.
actually.
I'm just saying what my experience is. I've never seen Swarm win a game like do well going second.
We took Swarm to our last team event, and it performed well, but it was also Francois piling it, so there's always player skill that can...
Yeah. Oh, speaking of Francois piloting, when are you getting that tattoo?
I know. I've reached out to 2 tattoo parlors. They aren't getting back to me, so I'm just going to go for a walk-in.
Otherwise, you're going to get
Shout
one
out to
like
Bruno
live
for getting his tattoo.
streamed in the United States the next time you're down here.
Yo, for real.
That could
We
happen,
can get
yeah.
it in a CD Belgian
Well-
parlor in Mechlin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we'll do.
Let's avoid that one.
Brian asks,
You know what you're gonna do by WTC then?
should we start a fund to help Innes buy his England kit for WTC?
I asked for a Nanavati shard.
Well, that's even better.
I think that, it's going to be funny when that day comes, Brian. It's going to be good. When Ennis finally gives up the ghost.
I'm not English. I can't play for Team England.
No, you play for Team UK when you guys finally lose your special privileges.
Nos isn't English either. Ask him for his passport.
Yeah, but Innocent doesn't even live in England, so...
I guess.
England. I'm gonna get a lot of people are gonna get mad at me again. It's okay.
Yeah, you're going to get in trouble.
It's not. It's
I
not.
don't know which
gonna be quite as
people you want to
funny.
piss off more, the Scottish, the Irish, the Northern Irish.
I mean, the last time I pissed off people, Cathal just sent me voice messages. Yeah.
That's just his normal way of
I've not spoken
communicating.
to Cahill in ages because he doesn't play.
I
Warhammer
know,
anymore
me
'cause he
too. I
stopped.
miss that
Yeah.
man. He's not even in chat right now.
Yeah.
Man, where are you, Cattle?
He shaved
I
his
miss you.
beard and disappeared.
No, he regrew it. He grew it back.
I'm sure he did. He's not
He
divorced.
regretted everything after that moment.
Yeah.
He lost all of his powers and then he gained them back.
Yeah.
The
for
rainbows
sure.
are back, as you would say. Adam Camilleri asks, Dark Angels, you say, never met him.
Same.
Just because I thought it was funny and I wanted to.
Hey, Azrael's still really good in Ironstorm.
In Ironstorm, yeah. And the Dark Shroud's still decent.
Nice, dude.
Yep.
Sick.
You go.
It allegedly got cheaper. We'll see if that sticks.
Index Multimeta and Index Azrael and Codex Azrael.
Hadar asks, want to join me on ETC to Manchester trip, Anthony?
If you want to cover it, then maybe.
Dangerous game you're playing there.
I'll play dangerous games with Hadar. I love that guy.
He is lovely.
That's the Gucci adventurer, bro.
It's not like he needs to buy more demons. He's got them all.
Yo, for real. I have been in his place. That is real fucking life.
Being threatened early this year.
I like how AJ can't spell plane.
I like to imagine he's going to drag him out to the Flatlands near Glasgow and beat him up.
Those exist?
I have no idea.
I thought it was just moors everywhere.
All right. Adam Camilleri also asks, what is the next best Chosen plus Lord unit now? Sword Brethren, Incubi, Knobs?
I think it's anything else.
Fuigan plus himself.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, you could put some fire dragons on there. It's not like it's bad.
It's worse than running. It's worse than just running them unattached because the possible hit he gives them is worth less than just having an extra 2 rerolls.
It's Lucius and 10 Legionaries.
It's probably still Lord and Chosen as well.
Yeah, they just went up in points. What they do, changed a whole bunch actually. That Zeal nerf is brutal. I played a couple games. Dude, I played a couple games of CSM. It's rough out there, man. Like,
tough, yeah.
Someone has a minus to hit, and you're like, fuck.
Like Death Guard, you just fold.
Yeah.
Like 5 reroll ones. Whee!
Yeah, it's
just
not
like,
good.
We're worse at fighting than Flash gets are at shooting. This is not okay.
Yeah, it's rough out there, bro. Like,
it's obviously old One Eye and Carnifexes.
There you go.
Except they have the biggest enemy that Chosen never had. A wall.
Yeah.
Look, you
What
can
else
send me.
I mean, Technomancer and Wraiths.
They don't
AJ,
have that great output.
Plasmancer and Immortals, maybe?
That's probably
With the reroll enhancement, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean,
Destroyer
they do
Lord and
reasonably good
Destroyer is
work.
pretty up there as well in terms of like annoying Nuki unit.
Yeah.
But is it an annoying Nuki unit you can keep safe and then suddenly
Illic and 10 Rangers. I know every other player under the sun loves that thing despite its sucking ass.
it's so bad.
10?
10.
I've seen 10.
People are playing it with 10. They're playing it with 10, maximizing his rerolls. I love how Anthony's door is magically closing in the background. Like, I didn't see anybody close it. It just closed itself.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I saw a glimpse of an Anna.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
okay.
sure Anna's back there fucking with the door. I just have been trying to like stay focused.
Yeah, people, UKTC has those big ruins. You can plunging fire off the top of them.
Oh God, fuck no, Christ, why?
Man, I won't lie.
I was
that
happy pretending that rule just didn't exist.
You can the Eliminator fire invading. They can get out to the top, plunging fire down, and then re-embark.
Fuck you.
Right, because you can measure from the hull.
Yeah.
I was just sent a replacement for my Oops All Tyranids thing, and now it's Oops All Catan. So I'm going to add that later on our Discord for everybody's viewing pleasure.
Nice.
Also, Brian, I definitely want to play Orcs now. I won't lie. There's a part of me that just wants to play them.
It's a better life. I'm sure people are happier, but it's just trolling on Team USA.
A lot of people running Ragnar and 5 Assault Intercessors nowadays.
Yo, that unit's sick.
But it's cool.
No,
that unit's infuriating to play into because it's 6 Marine bodies that should just die and then they never do.
Not even that. Ragnar pumps, dude. That guy slams.
Yeah,
to be fair, he's always slammed.
8-3-2 sustained hits. Like
4 rerolls to wound on an objective.
Yeah, Cunt's got AP4 and Lance and Gladius. He just, that guy's cool.
Gonna be him and 30 Wolfen.
It's just Lilith and 5 witches. That's what it is, right?
Just think about how much fight on death that is, Anthony.
I'd rather not, actually.
AP3 on Tesla with Scissorass.
This is like a cursed sentence. Rights. I think if you read this whole sentence out loud, it like undoes one of the apocalypse seals and gets us one closer.
All right, here, let me try. I'm fine with ending there a little sooner. Alex Tau says, I've been thinking about Hypercrypt Immortals able to get AP3 on Tesla with Xeris, Plunging Fire, and Acanthrites. XD.
The XD definitely awoken Beelzebub. I'm gonna.
Yeah, that's the line.
It undid the seal. That's what did it.
The XD just
congrats.
One less.
I own an Elder Army now as well, so that's definitely another seal. Like
no, that's just like one step closer to the eternal God King of of WTC teams.
I had somebody come up to me, was like, if we paired, I tried to pair you so I could Y you ITT, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so glad that didn't happen.
Whoever that was, if you find
The
me at a
pact has been
tournament,
made.
yeah, I actually use the pack's been sealed or the pack's been made a bunch now because Tempe says it.
Somebody apparently is typing too loud. I don't know who it is.
All of
but
you,
we'll-
by the way. All
Yeah,
three of you have
sorry.
loud keyboards and type frequently.
Look,
Yeah.
my wife likes mechanical keyboards. They are loud, and I apologize. We'll edit it out in post, and by we, I
No, we
mean
won't.
Jeremy. No, Jeremy, keep up the lie. All right,
I like
Innes,
to
can you
I like
just-
to imagine that Jeremy doesn't even edit the episodes. He just like ships them live and like charges us anyway. He's like, thanks.
We don't listen to them. How would we know?
I would never know. I just like to think that. I think it'd be funny.
I'd be
I
okay
came
with
just
it.
so that we didn't, so that I didn't have to. None of us had to upload it to the website, so it's fine.
Michael
Reasonable.
Tempe is not involved in Team
Our-
USA. He's just a big part of my life. He's one of my friends.
Right? Is that the last of it?
Wind us out, Innes. Yeah, it's been the last of it for a while.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, everybody, for being with us for another episode of Stat Check. This has been episode 78. Catan Nerf this. We'll be back for episode 79 next week. Please do remember to check out the brand new episode, a brand new show of Take All Commerce, which is coming this Thursday at 7:30 PST or your regional equivalent. Apologies to the UK people. Catch it up on the YouTube or the podcast feeds later. We're very much looking forward to seeing all those guys come to the network. Do check it out. Good luck if you're at a tournament this weekend, unless you're playing against one of us, which you won't be because I don't think any of us are tournaments this weekend. So smash it, unless you're playing Necrons, in which case lose horribly. Have a great time. We'll catch you next week. Nathan.
Bye-bye.